Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is Stock Trade Ideas for the week of February 9th, 2015. Today is Sunday, February 8th. We're going to take a look at four that we exited last week, and then two more that I'm looking at for tomorrow for this week. So we're going to start off here with Las Vegas Sands, LVS. So I thought LVS was breaking down here with this close. Clearly the trends, everything was trending to the downside. With this little trend line here, I thought we were breaking down, going to get a little swing move to the downside. So I got in on this day at the break of this low, and I really thought it was going to go, and it reversed on us and came back up here. Got stopped out right up here at the close on this day. Now, I should have been a little bit looser on my stop, I think, and we'll see. I mean, it's always, Monday morning quarterback. You always feel like, in hindsight, that you could have done X, Y, and Z. But anyway, that's what happened on that particular play, and of course, what it came right back down, and it's chopping, a little bit chopping sideways here, down, up, down. So. Not quite sure what the story is on LVS, but either way, we're out of the trade idea. Okay, so the next one we're going to take a look at is Twitter. And this is another one that, I'm trying to think of where I got in. I think it may have been here. I know what it was. It was on this day, on the 30th, on the pullback. Okay, because I really felt like there were 5 minor ways to the downside here, and I felt we were getting a little pullback, and I got in right around 50% pullback, I think, something like that. Well, then, next day it kind of paused, and then, this here on the 3rd, which was Tuesday, it had this big rally move, and so now it's starting to go against me, and had a stop up here above this day and got stopped out on Thursday. Just slightly above this high here. So, and clearly the momentum, took it to the upside. Now, I'm still wondering about this picture, and I still have a feeling that this is some kind of corrective action. Now, this is a pretty big move with a big gap. So I am wondering about that when you get a big gap like that, but sometimes it's a breakaway gap, sometimes it's a blow-off gap. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's a gap like this, comes back down, fills part of it. But if it comes back and closes all this gap fairly quickly, like within this week, I'm going to be really skeptical that, that this move isn't collapsing. So I would be surprised to see it come back in and close below, say, 44, because here's the high at 43.95. Which was right about in the middle of that gap. And the other thing that happened with this price action is it came up on, so right here is where it closed at 48.56 at the bottom of that solid red area, okay? That was the close. So the gap in price occurred between here down to here. Closed at 48.56, and then it opened down at 42.25. So the price action on Friday came up and closed this gap. Okay, so that's the other thing that just got accomplished. Check mark, great. Okay, so now we look back and say, okay, well, what kind of retracement did we get on Twitter? Of this move, which I think was a 5-wave move down, we retraced just a little bit over 61.8% on the move. Now, we're going to have to see. I mean, if we continue to have, the push to the upside in here, consolidate, push, it may be that it's, doing something different. But until then, we're just going to, continue with this scenario because we don't have any kind of trending action going on yet. And this was very choppy, overlapping until we had this, this move here, which could be the end of it. So anyway, that's it on Twitter. So we got out and stopped down on Twitter. I think it was like 20-some%. I don't remember the number exactly. Anyway, the details of all of these trade ideas are on the Trade Ideas webpage. So if you're a subscriber, that's it gives you access to that. If you're not a subscriber, it's very easy to do. Just sign up here on the website, or click on one of the little red boxes or on the video. So the third one is GLD, and this is a I went to Goldman Sachs. Actually, I meant to go to, I had Goldman Sachs up, and I really meant to have GLD. Okay, here we go. So we were in this trade from down here. Okay, first got in right in here. So we rode this nice leg up, captured some initial profits on half the position, and then ended up giving back a big chunk of the profits on the second half, and got stopped out on this day, this big drop on Friday. Fortunately, we were still stopped out at a profit on the second half of the position, although not nearly the profit if we would have exited everything right up here. So again, 20/20 hindsight always works, but it ended up being a very nice trade for us, so can't complain. So not quite sure what this is doing, except I still think the intermediate trend is to the upside. The short-term trend may be starting to break down here. We could just have some kind of zigzag pullback, not sure. And the fact that this move overlapped the high of 1, again, like I said the other night, this could be, or maybe it was yesterday, I can't remember, it might have been yesterday, pull back to the neckline of a Head and Shoulders bottom in here too, could be going on from a technical perspective. So we'll have to continue to watch gold and see how that starts to, if it starts to reverse or not out of this position. All right, the next one I want to take a look at is Best Buy. And Best Buy, for whatever reason, I just can't seem to get these trades to work. I really thought it was going to break down here. We had a short-term trend to the downside. It was rallying back, thought it was going to do another leg to the downside. We got in on this day, and then it reversed and pulled back up. Now we're trending above, got stopped out on Friday at the open, basically, is where the signal occurred. And of course, when that happens on the open and you're in options, sometimes you just got to give it a little space, give it a little time, because the liquidity and the liquidity that happens in the first few minutes of the market trading is not the greatest. So sometimes you have to sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and let it settle a little bit. It all depends on the stock and how the trading is going on. But anyway, the stop was right above this high in here, and that got hit on Friday. So we got stopped out on Best Buy. So it's going to be interesting right now. I mean, this looks like it's trying to reverse and push to the high side. Doing one of these down in here, and of course you could get a little pullback after the if this continues to push to the high side and get the blue line crossing above the blue-gray, the 10 above the 21, then this could be turning and heading higher again. And that's a possibility that we'll be watching for. All right, the two I'm going to look at now are Caterpillar and Seagate Technologies. So CAT has had a heck of a move to the downside, a couple big legs down, and I think we're getting some pretty good bullish divergence on this last push down in here. Okay, you can see it very similar to what we got over here. All right, and after that kind of bullish divergence, we got a pretty good little leg up, but it was kind of it was kind of muted. It was a counter trend rally for sure, but it was enough to get you back up to the red line, the 55-day moving average, which here that's 5, 6, 7 points above where we're at right now. So when I see the divergence on the RSI, see the divergence on the demand index, although it's not perfect, but it's close, and on the DI minus. The selling aspect of this, the DI minus here, divergence showing up, that starts to make me feel like, okay, I think we might be getting a little bounce. So I've got an entry that I'm willing to play on this, and we'll see if we can't get a counter trend move. Now we have to recognize that, this is a counter trend move. Now we've gotten two closes, consecutive closes above the 10-day. So, we've gotten that before, but again, we didn't have the strong divergence at this point that we're getting in this move here. So that's why I'm willing to take a look at this, whereas I wasn't willing to take a look at that. Okay. And then the other one is Seagate Technologies. And again, this is one that We're getting these closes above the 10-day. Actually, I saw this during the day on Friday and actually entered this above, above here, okay? And I still think because of the way this closed on Friday, you can, have that as an entry point. I'll keep it as an entry point for the trade idea to enter and re-enter, or, it's to have it out there. And I do think that this has got a good chance of turning here. Now, here's what I'm seeing. We're not getting divergence per se, but we're getting a trend line break on the RSI. And that happened actually on this day right here. Very similar to the way we got a trend line break here. Now, on the price chart, the nice thing about after you got 2 days above the 10, you got a break of the trend line on the price chart. We didn't get that here yet, okay? And then let's see, don't have a trend line break yet on the demand. And the other thing I was going to point out is on the directional movement, DI minus, DI plus. The extreme reading that we got on DI minus is at 41. That was on this day, on this price day, okay? And that is the same extreme reading that we got back over here for the red, for the selling, on this day, which happened to be the low point for this down leg move. And then we turn around, got a couple closes above the 10, you break out, and and it just rode back up here and came up and basically retested this high and actually went a little bit higher on it, and it continued to push, although not as strong as it did on this first move. So looking to see if we get something similar here and get some follow through to the upside. The picture is similar. The setup is similar, but nothing's ever exactly the same. So we'll see whether or not we can get an entry and get a little bit of a push here to the high side. All right, that's Seagate Technology, and that's it for today. So I will be back on Tuesday, and we'll take a look at the market action of the first 2 days at that point. And we'll see how these trade ideas are working out. So, all right, this has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Everyone have a great Monday, Tuesday, and we'll talk to you then.